Okay, so I'm sure that by now you must be itching to start styling your page a little bit, right? So we've learned about elements, we've learned about a few key tags or elements that are used very commonly in HTML. But now it's time to play around with the appearance a little bit, right? So here we shall look at ways to format or style the content of HTML elements using CSS or cascading style sheets. Now there are three ways uh, through which CSS can be applied to HTML elements. The first method is known as inline, where we use the style attribute, as we saw a couple of sections earlier. The second method is by using what is known as internal styling, which is to use the style tag in the head section of your HTML document. And the third method is by including an external file, right? By using the link tag once again in the head section of your HTML document. So let's start with the inline style, okay? But before we add any styles, let's first see what the vanilla web page looks like. So there you go. You have a heading, right, which is the content that has been typed into the H1 element, and you have a paragraph. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add the style attribute, right? So let us start with the paragraph element, okay, where we shall add a style attribute and assign it a value background color hash 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this is the hex code of the color that we wish to assign as a background to the paragraph element. Now don't worry about the hex code. You can just search the internet and find out the hex code for any color that you wish to add. There are even websites available where you can choose a color and it will tell you what the hex code is. So let's just save this and hit preview. So what happens? Well, the background of the paragraph element has been assigned a grayish color. Now let's say we want to change the color of the text in the paragraph element, right? So here we will just use color, okay, and let's say we want to make this blue, right? So we've typed in the hex code of a shade of blue. Let's save this and hit preview. So there you go, right? So we use a style attribute, we've used certain rules to change the background color or assign the background color to a specific value, and also assign the color of the text to a specific value, right? Now you can do the same with the heading element as well, so you can just experiment your heart's content. Now there are many style attributes. We just looked at color and background color because those are pretty cool to demonstrate, but there are many attributes, and once again we would recommend that you refer to the W3 Schools repository at this particular URL, which is w3schools.com/cssref/default.asp, to find out more about what are the various style attributes available to you, right? But for now, just pay more attention to text, border, color, and font attributes, right? So just try out, just read up these particular style attributes, style rules, and just try them out on your web page to see how they alter the appearance of the elements you apply them to. Now, so far we've looked at altering the appearance of an element by using the style attribute, and that is the inline method of styling a particular element. Now let's say you have multiple paragraphs in your page, right? So let's take this example. Okay, let us just add another paragraph over here, which will essentially be the same one, just repeat it. Okay, so there we go. This has been. Now, let us say we want to apply the same background color and the same color to both these paragraphs, right? So, what have we done here? We've used the inline method of styling. We've simply repeated the same style attribute to both these paragraphs, right? So, let's save this and hit preview. So, okay, you have two paragraphs that kind of you want them to look similar, and you've managed to do that. Now, imagine a scenario where you have 100 paragraph elements on your page and you want to apply the same style attribute to all of them. Now, if you have to use the inline method of styling, you just have to repeat the same style rules to each one of those 100, and that's going to be really, really cumbersome, isn't it? Well, thankfully, you don't have to do that. You can use the internal method of styling by using the style tag in the head section. So let's just insert a style tag, close it. Always a good idea to specify both the start and end tags together. That way you are not going to miss out. And what we're going to do is we're going to specify the element, which is paragraph in this case, and just pay attention to the syntax, and we are going to say that, well, I want the background color to be a shade of gray, right? And I want the text color to be a shade of blue, right? And then this inline style specification is no longer required. So by using the internal style, you have obviated the need to specify style attributes to each of your 100 elements. And this is a much easier way of achieving the same result. Or is it? Well, let's find out. It is. Cool. Alright, so we've looked at a way of applying styles inline. We've looked at a way of applying styles through the internal method by using the style tag. Now we shall look at a way of applying styles by using an external file. But you might think, well, why do I need an external file when I have the internal method of styling? Well, now imagine, as we had specified earlier, that a website can have multiple web pages. Now imagine you have 10 web pages on your website, you have 100 paragraph elements, right, in each of your HTML files, right? So 10 web pages, let's say you have one HTML file for each page, so therefore you have 10 HTML files, you have 100 paragraph elements in each of them, and you want all your paragraph elements to be styled the same way across your web pages. Well, yes, you can use the internal method of styling by inserting the style element in the head section of each of your 10 HTML files. But you need not do that, right? All you need to do is basically include the same rule in an external file and just make sure that you've included the same external file in each HTML file, right? So not only is it an easier way to do it, but you also ensure that you are consistent, right? So if you want to change a particular style, you don't have to go and change it in all your 10 HTML files. You can just go and change it in this one single CSS file and you're done, right? So now let us look at what this CSS file has. So well, we have assigned a color, which is text color, to every paragraph element that appears, and we've assigned a background color to your page as well as a text color to your page, right? So let us see what the page looks like. So there you go. So remember, to summarize, there are three ways of styling your web page. You can use the inline method, wherein you can specify a particular style by using the style attribute. You have the internal method where you can specify styles by using the style tag in the head section, and that is useful when you want to apply the same styles to all elements. Or let's say in the example that we said, if you have 100 paragraphs and you want to apply the same style to each of them, then the internal method is a good way to do so, because otherwise you would have to go and use the style attribute in each of those 100 paragraph elements. And the last method is the external method, which is a very consistent way of assigning styles when you have to work with multiple pages, right? So multiple HTML files, and you want a consistent and single file where all styles are defined, and all you need to do is just include that external file in each of those HTML files, right? Great. So now once again, experiment to your heart's content.